everyone, it's Jeff from midatlanticcraps, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is episode 8, just what it says right up there. Episode 8 of the PARR toss is tonight's topic with my good friend G on this dice tossing techniques with me and G. G, good evening. How are you? Oh, audio, Jeff. There we go. I turned it off. There you go. How are you, G?
All right. Can you hear me better now?
Yep, I can hear you. It's all my fault.
All right. That's good. That's good. Looking forward to showing the techniques of the PARR toss, and then we'll dive in a little bit with the on-access toss. That's a modified mechanics of the original PARR toss. So looking forward to diving in and just talking with the folks in the chat and having some fun tonight.
Yep, and in the pre-show we talked about we've got a couple things to give away tonight. We have the 5 entries for the G's jacket. But we have a male and a female, or 2 colors, I should say. We're going to give away those away about 2/3 away into the show tonight, and that's 5 entries to qualify for December's giveaway. Then we also got your fleece blanket that you're going to give away, and I may have another giveaway to be there. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna do it or not. We'll just see how the show goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
So you want to go ahead and go through and get all the necessities out of the way so everybody understands?
Again, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is dice tossing techniques. If you know us, you know what we're all about. If you're new watching this, this is for entertainment purposes, and maybe you'll learn something that you can use in the casino if you like to pick up the dice and handle the dice with your hands. There's no money involved. This is not a timeshare or anything. We're not going to ask you anything. As a matter of fact, we're giving away stuff. So if you're new to the shows, just sit down and relax, and I hope you enjoy it.
You were supposed to say, and enjoy the show. I mean, that's what they do. Sit down, relax, and put your seatbelts on, your tray tables up or down, whatever. Enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show, exactly. So, you ready to dive into it?
I'm ready when you are.
All right. So tonight we're going to talk about the PARR toss, and the PARR toss originated a long time ago between a few folks, but mainly it was Patterson. And it was called the Patterson on-access rhythm rolling. And the reason why it's called on-access rhythm rolling is because of the mechanics and the motions in the toss that they put in, and to try and kind of get the dice to stay on access in the air and have it flow all the way to the back wall. Now, this happened decades ago where the casinos had their tables, pretty much there was no bounce at all. They were all hard surfaces and stuff. So the PARR toss worked very well because it gave folks what they needed when they were trying to influence the toss. And the influence was to get the dice rolling on their axis, hit the table, hit the back wall soft, come back and die. So we're going to go through the mechanics of the toss, and then afterwards I'll show you a little bit of how heavy came in later and modified some of the mechanics and pretty much created what he called the on-access toss. So when we say on-access toss, we're not saying that the dice is on access. It's a toss that he named and he teaches. And so I don't know why he picked up the name on access, because it confuses everybody when we're talking about it, but that's what the toss is called. So if you're taking classes with Heavy, and if you shoot the way he teaches, you're literally throwing the on access dice toss. So let's get rolling with it. I'm going to switch screens and get to my full view and start the show.
All right, no problem. Just want to remind everybody, this is episode 8 of the dice tossing techniques, the PARR toss, and G is going to do some demonstration for us. So, G, take it away.
All right. So, the PARR toss For the stance, for the most part, if you're using your right hand from stick left or your left hand from stick right, you're standing facing the dealer. And the preferred position is the closest to stick, because that's the most influence you can have on that toss and on on the dice, because it's the shortest distance to the back wall. Most of the dice tossing techniques that I've shown over the year now, most of them have the same thing in common, which is the closer you are to the back wall, the more influence you can have on your toss. The further back you get, the more variance you add, and the less influence you have. So you start off with facing the back wall. I mean the dealer. Me personally, I like to stand on my toes, but that's because I gauge the distance from the deck based on my arm. So most casinos have the same height on the deck, but the rails are different. So some have higher rails, some have lower rails. So I don't worry about the rail. I worry about the deck right here. For the grip is a three-finger grip. So Jeff, if we can zoom in on my hand camera, please. Yep, that one. So the grip is a three-finger grip, and your hand, your wrist moves forwards and backwards, right to left. So you need to make sure that you come down straight on the dice and it's not tilted to the left or the right, or you have a forward or backward motion. And I'll show you why in a little bit. But the grip, you can go in deep if you want on the dice with a three finger, or you can go skinny. And when I say skinny, I mean literally picking up the dice from the very, very top surfaces of the dice. So again, you can go deep on the dice, and you see me tap my fingers because it's a habit. Heavy, pretty much got that in my head from day one. So I get my three fingers like this, and I tap them to line them up so that when I pick up the dice, they're all lined up. Now, if you sweat like me, then you're gonna have a problem with this toss because the dice will stick to your fingers. So another way you can pick it up is using the Yuri grip, which is from the diagonal edges, which is like this. And that way you have very little skin on the dice. So again, this is the regular grip. And then you can use the Yuri grip. All right. Now, if we can zoom back out, Jeff, please, to the regular table, and I'm going to take a sip of coffee.
All right, I'm not sure which screen you're talking about, but I think you're talking about this one.
Just no, my regular view.
This one here? Okay, got it.
Now, the unaccessed rhythm rolling toss. What Patterson and his buddies came up with, when you grip the dice, you hold it a little bit high. They have, it's pretty much, they tell you whatever your preference is based on height, and you do this back motion and follow through.
Yeah, show me the height again there, G. Show me
You're
the
not going to
height.
be able to see it. You're not going to be able to see it here.
I did see it in that one, but I'll go. It's okay.
All right. So you hold it,
Yep.
then you go back and forward. So there's a certain rhythm to it. And then what they teach is that whenever whenever you practice and you get that rhythm, then you get consistent. You kind of know where to toss the dice every time with that rhythm. Okay? Now, what they also teach is that if you're backing away from the back wall, then the way to extend the toss and the way to throw it to the landing zone is you get a little deeper in your swing. So instead of just doing something like this, you go like that. But the problem, the concern that I have is that there are so many things that can go wrong with this because you have to keep the dice flat. You can't go like this. If you go like this, then you're gonna go like this, right? So you have to stay straight all the way. So if you're gonna do it, and I know some folks go like this and hold it, right? They hold it right here, and then they throw it. Some folks have modified it to their own comfort, to where they barely move. They move a little bit and then they throw it. So the basics of the mechanics is a swing, but then every single person picks it up and then moves the dice to their own comfort level. The other thing that people may not know is that you can go back on this camera on my hand cam, please,
Okay.
Jeff.
No problem. Yep, I'm coming. Bad production.
And I'm going to use this dice. So this is glued dice, and I use it sometimes just to practice. So to show, a lot of times people think that when you release, you just open your hand and the dice just goes from your hand. The dice is supposed to roll off the tips of your fingers. So if I'm holding it like this, and when I release it, the ones that do this toss very, very well, and there are a few, and I've seen them, the dice rolls. Now, why is that important? Because if you don't have your grip right, and the dice rolls, they're going to separate. Because if you have like one finger higher than the other on the release, that this one is going to release a lot faster than that one, and that your dice is going to go all over the place. So the ones that really know how to do this toss very, very well, they let the dice roll off their fingers. The last part of the mechanics is the follow through. A lot of the dice tosses, we talk about follow through. Follow through is where your hand ends up, right? You can't just throw the dice and stop your hand and let the dice go, and then your hand is right here. The follow through is important because depending on where you want to land the dice and the table bounce is how, what point in the angle do you let go of the dice. I love to watch Ed toss. Ed's hand if you watch Ed, and if you can watch his YouTube videos from Roll to Win in slow motions, his hand goes high. I mean, his follow through is high, but the dice is not up there. The dice is already gone. It's low. So when you do a follow through, you can let go of the dice here, but you follow through so that you can get a comfort. Because if you bulk, and I call it bulking, if you just bulk like that, it's not going to toss. The dice is not going to roll. In baseball, you gotta swing the bat all the way. In golf, you gotta swing the golf club all the way. Follow through is very, very important. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee if you have something to say, Jeff.
Sure, no problem. Just want to remind the viewers that are here now that we do have a couple of giveaways to give away tonight. We'll be giving those away in a little bit. The show usually runs about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how long-winded we get. And, gee, I want to put up this chat I got a little while ago that I want you to read real quick while you're here. So maybe you can explain to the gentleman why I do that. Steve says, don't interrupt G so much when he's talking about the toss. Who cares if he's long-winded? Let the man talk. And I'm going to try to do that, Steve. If I offend anybody, I apologize. But got to keep the show rolling. And when G takes what's got to breaks, that's kind of like when I speak up.
I can talk. I mean, I can go on for hours. So no, I need a good timekeeper. Now, the mechanics of any toss is important. So we've covered the mechanics, but if you put them all together, you put the dice, you're front facing the dealer, you pick up the dice, and then you look for where you want to drop your dice, you swing, and you throw it, and then the follow through. Now, I don't use this toss a lot because my fingers sweat and my dice just kind of like sticks to it. The other reason why I don't use it right-handed from stick left, left-handed from stick right is because my follow-through is very high. I know a few folks, Stent, Placer, and Oz, where when I used it at the IP, Oz had to step away from the table, and I was shooting it from stick left 1.5 because I would hit the stick man if I had moved a little bit forward. That's just me with I just have my follow through is very wide. The other thing I wanted to mention about this particular toss is that when you release, a lot of people flick their wrist on release. That is a very, very bad habit. It's bad juju. Flicking the wrist will cause it to just go up in the air and land. You don't want to do that. You want it to roll up. So if you watch some of the folks that toss it, even on YouTube, they just flick their wrist. So basically they do something like this. And you saw how the other ones were like really nice to the back wall. This one went all over the place because it went really high on a bouncy table and landed. So you have to make sure you don't flick your wrist. You open your wrist. You just open it and not flick it. Also, when you hold the dice, you're holding it like this. You're holding it like this, right? When you release it, you release it like this. So, like that. Some folks go like that. Howard used to do this. But they have to because they have big fingers. And so the only way that they could just release the dice is by opening their hand. If you don't have to do that, I would advise you not to do that. Why? Because let's just say that you're sweating a little bit, and then now you have the dice here, you have the dice here, and then when you release it, you open your hand like that. If the dice is sticking just a little bit, it's gonna go with your fingers just for a tad, and now it's going all over the place. If you release it with your fingers collapsed together, even if they're sticking, one may end up higher than the other, but they're gonna be rolling in the same direction. So if you're used to opening your hand like that, watch the way the dice reacts. If it works for you, that's fine. But if you're a newcomer and you're trying to figure out the dice toss, always keep your hand and your fingers clapped, and then just open it. Just open it like that. Not like this. Like that. And the pinky is either way out, or I usually just keep it like this, just kind of like hanging on. The final thing about the toss, before we move on to the next mechanics, a lot of people grip it with their fingers tight on all three fingers. That's the wrong grip. The main grip is your thumb and middle finger. This is the main grip. Your index finger and your fourth finger are literally just like kickstands. They're just guides. There's hardly any pressure. Because if you put pressure on your index, or where's the dice? Right here. On your index or on your fourth finger, then you're going to start, a boxing match between your fingers, and the middle finger is going to lose and the dice is going to separate. Not a boxing match, but tug of rope. That's what I meant to say. I'm going to say it again. Your index and your fourth finger are like guidelines, are like guiding the dice. They're barely holding the dice.
Come into frame, G, and talk about that.
Your index and your fourth finger are barely holding the dice. You're gripping with the thumb and middle finger, and that will make sure that the dice doesn't split. These things are barely hanging. See, they're very loose. I can move them. I saw someone grip the dice one time. They moved their hand forward and they gripped it like this. I can't do it, but literally they grip the dice like that with their
Come into frame. There you go.
with their fingers coming in like this, and then their thumb. So it was like a hook, like a clamp, like that, instead of like this. And I asked them, I said, why do you do that? They said because they have a problem with their wrist. They have a disability and they can't twist it high. So by clamping him like this, he can go like that, and by the time he gets here, he can release the dice, and he was doing very, very good. So he had to adjust the grip for him, because he had a handicap. He couldn't move his wrist all the way. All right. Follow through. That will be the last thing we talk about this, before we move on heavy's mechanics that he added to this. Follow through. When you can stay on this camera, because that's a good camera. When you pick up the dice, if you tilting the dice, if you pick it up, tilt it like that, you can see that my hand is not flat, it's tilted on it. Even though you put the dice flat on the deck, when it goes up in the air, it's going to be at an angle because your hand is tilted. So you have to make sure that the dice is picked up with your hand down. Now when you go like this, the dice is parallel to the deck. And when you go to release, your hand wants to move out because that's the natural motion. So you see a lot of people throwing it in the hook because even though they're going like this, they're going to the hook. You have to mentally prepare yourself and physically go straight and out. You have to go straight and out instead of at an angle. So it doesn't matter if you're doing the PARR or on access toss, they're both the same concept. Jeff, if you want to go back to you have to go up and straight and out. If you don't think about it and put in that thought in there, you're gonna do this. And look where the dice is going. It's at an angle, it's going into the hook. You're gonna go do this. Which you don't want to do. So there's a lot of thought process into the grip, the release, and the forward motion, and then the follow through. So that when you go out straight. All right. I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions before we move on with what Heavy did.
We do have a few questions, G. So first of all, I want to put a couple things up here. I appreciate everybody that's sending us a super chats tonight. You guys are awesome. Mel was the last one to give us a super chat. Before that, my good friend Anthony, who I guess I'm not going to see in a couple weeks because he's going elsewhere, gave us a super chat. I want to say hello to that. My good friend Clay, you can't see it on your screen, but basically that little pop-up there is that he's 34 months as a subscriber with the Mid-Atlantic-Crapps. We thank you. And our newcomer, who's not Brian, by the way, just goes by Camper. He gave us $1.99 super chat about 6:30 Eastern time tonight. When I was setting things up, he was actually in the chat. So, G, we do have a couple questions.
All right, let me go through what Heavy did real quick.
Oh, I thought you already did that.
No. So now after Jerry Patterson and the PARR team and Golden Touch came up with it, a little bit later, Heavy modified the dice toss, the mechanics of the toss by taking away some variant. And me personally, I think that that's the right way to toss it because you can have the mechanics of this down packed. I still think it's too much to think about and it adds variance. So what Heavy said, you know what? We're not going to do the motion. We're going to go off the deck. Go back. Sorry, go back. Yeah, we're going to go off the deck. That way, every single time you pick up the dice, you know you're going from the same spot, and it's the same follow through and it's the same toss. You just throw it off the deck. I'm gonna switch to the Yuri grip because my dice are barely leaving my hands. So instead of there's nothing wrong with the, I would call the swish and flick. There's nothing wrong with this. It's just that to me, it's more to think about and get right. So by going from the deck, I know the table's not going anywhere. This is the same every single time. So all I have to do is just concentrate on my toss. That's the difference between what heavy teaches and what PARR and Golden Touch teach. Everything else is the same. Heavy does it from the deck. He teaches tosses from the deck, and the Golden Touch Patterson folks do the up and down motion,
Pendulum swing.
pendulum swing, the swish and flick, as I would call it.
Get a little
Um,
feedback from my voice, G, when I'm talking.
I'm sorry, what was
Sorry.
that?
I'm getting a little feedback, but keep going.
Um, the, the rest of the mechanics, and again, I keep harping on the mechanics because without the mechanics, nothing works. The rest of the mechanics is whatever works for you. How high, the landing zone, whatever whatever the table bounce dictates on where you land the dice, you you can work out with the release as long as your grip, your set, your throw and release are consistent. They're the same every single time. You just change either height to go higher, further for neutral tables, lower, closer to you for bouncy tables. That way the dice can lose momentum going to the back wall. Only you as an individual can figure that out. And
All right.
the final thing I'm going to say, we harp on the mechanics a lot because I get a lot of questions asking me to talk about dice sets. You're not going to hear much conversations about dice sets on these shows because it doesn't matter what dice set I tell you to use or what dice set I use if the mechanics are not correct. If you throw the dice over here and then say, "Ooh, I got a 5-1. I'm trying to throw horns. So I'm gonna switch dice set, and then your next toss goes over there." It doesn't matter what dice set you use. Oh, I got a 6-3. Now I'm gonna change. No. That's a completely different toss. Or the mechanics were awful on it, and the dice went over there. Dice sets come when you have a consistent toss, when everything is consistent. And that doesn't mean that you land it in here and it hits the back wall and dies every single time. It's got to be in this area. The dice has to do it consistently. Then we can talk about what dice set to use on what table. And I'll be honest with you, Jeff, even that you are the only person, the individual is the only person that can figure out what dice set to use on the table that they're throwing at the casino. Nobody can,
Well,
nobody
that
can
was
tell
one of
them
the
what.
questions. Yeah, yeah, that was one of the questions. What is the set that you would use?
For a beginner, it's the hard way set. That's what I hear everybody saying. And then if you start double pitching, then you change. But only you can figure out what dice set to use for some particular tosses. The only ones I can tell you is the off access, like Howard's Dice Magic and stuff like that, to where you use the all seven set. That's for the toss. Um, I see it a lot, in the chats. When Joe's tossing, or when you're tossing, or when hey, use this set, so and so. And I keep asking, based on what factors? What did you see Jeff do? What did you see Joe do that makes you think that that dice set will work? Or is it just it works for you? Dice sets and tosses are very unique to individuals. My dice set will not work for you if I tell you to use it because you toss the same toss, but you have a little bit different mechanics than me. So,
Let's talk.
it's not going to work for you.
Right. Well, let's talk about the landing zone. That's the next question. Comes from Roman. If you will, talk about. I guess when you're throwing the par, the landing zone. And
Yes.
first of all,
So,
before we move on, I've definitely got to recognize Sarge here again tonight because this is just incredible. I want to make sure that he gets due. Sarge, thank you very much for that $50, $49.99
wow,
super
very
chat.
nice.
You are a gentleman and scholar, regardless of
What
well.
I say.
No, not what you say. I've shot with Sarge, and he outshoots me all the time. So just thank you very much for that super chat. All right, G, back to what you were saying.
No, no. So
Landing
let's
zone.
talk about landing zone. I know you have this area programmed for a Zoom, right? This right here.
I do.
Yep. There you go. So for this particular toss on a neutral table, it's recommended to land the dice somewhere in this area right here. Maybe one
Can, can you go
one
back
one
and put
inch.
the dice where you want them to land? That was a little confusing to us.
Yeah. So maybe 1 to 2 inches from the back wall, right here on a neutral.
Let me see if I can
And
get a better shot there. Keep talking.
and what you want to do is land the dice, have them hit the back wall slightly, and then just die. On a bouncy table, you'd want to land them about here, low, because you want them to hit and lose momentum coming to the back wall. The influence, any dice toss we're doing, most influence is not to hit the back wall very hard. Because if you hit the back wall very hard, the rubber and the eggshells is going to take the dice and have it go all over the place. If you gently, slightly, barely hit it, the dice may go at an angle, but it's not going to spread. It's not going to scatter. So let's go back to the regular, and I'll throw it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a high shot, and the dice may scatter because this is a bouncy table. Or if it lands perfectly like I want it, it may not. And then I'll do a lower shot. The high shot is going to get close to the back wall. The lower shot, I'm going to get the dice somewhere in this area, right here, and then let it go the back wall. So first toss is a high toss, throwing the dice right to the back wall. So that dice landed the back wall.
Wasn't a good outcome, but we're not worried about the outcome.
I'm not setting it.
Yep.
I'm just putting it next to each other and tossing it. I'm not using it at a certain set or anything. Just for show. A lower toss, a softer toss, is going to hit the dice. So this one hit it kind of like over here, but you see how it landed. Nice. I can even move it further away. If the table is very, very bouncy, I can say, you know what? I want to land it softly right here. Now this one may not reach the back wall, I don't know, but I want to land it softly right here. I can, which means that I barely, barely throw the dice. It kind of rolled into the back wall. So On a neutral table, you want to get close to the wall because you want it to hit the back wall. On a semi bounce, kind of bouncy, a little bit further. On a very bouncy, definitely further. Now, sometimes you may have chips in the way and stuff like that. Ed did a good video on chips in the way. And what I see people like, if there's chips over here in these areas, they move to the middle. I don't like to do that because then you're throwing at an angle. So if you take the dice and you kind of put it here, now throw it to the middle, you have to adjust. And what you didn't see me do here is you notice, I don't know if you noticed, but I didn't set here, I set right here. Because what I did was I adjusted so that the dice doesn't hit here and go like that. It hit here and came back like this. The adjustment I made was with my wrist and the angle. And that's like for advanced, you know, you'll have to learn them. If you take a class or, you know, if you go to Casino Tiers class, and yes, I'm pulling a plug, but I know Bo, dice coach, he'll show you some of these tricks. That's where I learned them. I learned those tricks from him. I learned the mechanics of the toss from heavy, and then dice coach showed me the different tricks of that. One final thing, because I know somebody's gonna say, um, somebody's gonna say something. I showed you with my right hand. I'm gonna show you that you can do it with your left hand.
At some point, G, could you answer Lou's question or comment? He'd like to see you throw the
Yes,
glued dice.
yes. I'll tell you what I use this glued dice for in a second. Um, so with the left hand, if you want to toss it with the left hand, you can't stand facing the dealer. You have to kind of do it facing the back wall. Okay? But it's the same thing. If you want to do the PARR toss, you can go like this. If you want to use heavy toss, and yes, since I'm a switch hitter, I can do them from either place. That's just a thing. Um, if you use heavy toss on access toss, you can just do it like this. And I did them high to get into the back wall. If I want the dice to settle a little bit less, then you can throw them lower, a little bit away from the back wall, and they'll settle. So if we throw them a little bit lower, then they'll settle. And you can use the Yuri grip, but it's the same technique for the hand. You don't do anything different. You open it the same way, and you don't flick your wrist. It's the same technique. It's just instead of doing it like that, you're doing it like this. Howard does that very, very well. May he rest in peace. That's, you know, he uses his left hand and right hand, and he's the one who taught me how to be a switch hitter for this toss. All right, Lou. The glued dice, I use it when I'm trying to figure out if my mechanics on a dice toss is if the dice is going all over the place, wobbly, or if it's going straight. The problem with using the glued dice is that they stay together and sometimes it's heavy. So when they land, they will on the sharp edge they'll put a hole in your layout. So when I usually use it, I usually put a towel to protect my layout. Because I'm using it just to see what my toss is doing in the air, not what the actual landing zone and stuff or the result set, because it's glued, right? So um, I use that for this type of toss and for the stack toss. So I just want to make sure that the dice stays. Um, what is that? That's not horizontal, flat, flat to the table in the air, and and I don't. So the part toss, you spin the dice. We didn't talk about rotation. We'll talk about it in a little bit. I don't like a lot of rotation, so I usually don't put any rotation. So this is, I just want to make sure that the dice is flying in the air like that, not like this, not like wobbly or something like that. So this is where I use this, and it's a good tool to use. So without a slow motion camera, you can't really see it, but I see it with my eyes that it flew um, flat to the deck.
We got a lot of comments and questions backed up, G, and I know you're not good on time, but
So the final thing I'm going to say about
talk about the
rotation.
rotation. Yeah.
Yeah. So the more rotation, the faster the dice is going to go. So some people like 1.5 rotation. Some people want to put three rotations. You can control that by how fast you open. How fast you open. So if you do this slowly, then there's not a lot of rotation. If you do it, not flick your wrist, but if you do it fast, then it puts rotation. If you do it high, like you're trying to get it all the way over there, then it puts more rotation. Um, if you use a Uri grip and you're not careful, you're going to put at least 2 rotations on the dice more than what you, because for the simple fact of how I'm gripping the dice. If you're, I don't know if Ed from Roll to Win is on here. If you're ever out with him, Casino Tiers, Dice Coach, they'll they will be able to. I don't have enough time in the show tonight to go through all that stuff. I just wanted to go over the basic mechanics, but they can literally show you how to put more rotation and less rotation on the dice to make it do whatever you want. And Ed is a lot more experienced and better with the part toss than I am, because I don't usually toss that toss because of my sweaty fingers. I used to be a good at it, but not anymore. All right, we'll take a sip of my sody and answer some questions if you want.
Yeah, having a little technical issue here. You went past the time limit on the questions, and my software seems to have messed up. I'm gonna have to refresh and go back.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was trying to get to the questions. A couple people were saying that they had some technical issues watching us, so I don't know that that's going to come up here. So you have to give me a couple seconds. I'm going to have to read the questions myself, G, after I reload them. Let me bring this over here. It's going to be a
So
pain
did
in the butt.
the feed cut off? They're having technical issues.
No, the issue that I have here with
Oh, the
the
queue.
system.
Trying to get the queue. Okay.
Yeah, because I had them all pinned up and ready to go, and then the time limit expired on how many I can queue up and how many we can talk about, and it is probably
Yeah.
going to take me just a few minutes. So
I apologize. Can either retype or you can just, you know.
no, I can get back to them. It's just going to take a little bit for me to get there. So let's go ahead and talk about your giveaways tonight, and then we'll get back to the questions. The question that that I guess wanted to get answered in addition to the landing zone was talking about the guiding. That once again, the guiding of the fingers. You were talking about which fingers you use. There was a question in there, which is the best finger
Right.
to use.
So again, the finger placement for the grip is your thumb and middle finger. That's where the pressure, and not a lot of pressure, but very, 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 a little bit of pressure your index and your fourth finger are guiding the dice. They're laying, barely having any pressure on the dice. Now, I've seen some folks put their index and middle finger out on the outer edges. I don't like that because that will cause the dice to go sideways or open flip instead of closed flip. Um, what's the number? What's the preferred number of rotations? Does the number of rotations change between table conditions? The number of rotation changes from your toss, and you do it based on the table condition. If it's a very bouncy table, you don't want a lot of rotation of the dice. You barely want one rotation because you're landing it closer to you. So the dice barely have enough time in the air to rotate. If it's a neutral table, um, then you want a little bit more rotation on it so that it can get to the back wall. And so you decide what the rotation is based on the table condition, but how you do it is on your release. And like if you whip you don't have to flick your wrist up. If you whip your hand like this, you're going to add a few more rotations just by nature.
All right.
And by the way,
If
you don't want to whip. You want a soft, gentle release.
if you asked a question earlier and I did not display it, please put it back in, premise it with a capital Q with a semicolon. It's real easy for me to find the questions when something like this happens. I'm going to put up here a comment from Craftsmaster Journey Joe. I don't know if he's still with us. I know that he's working. He could be on his break. But Craftsmaster Journey Joe says, I use more of a C grip, and all I do is release the dice, is drop out my thumb. And he's talking
Yep.
about he uses like three fingers are glued together.
Yep. So he's one of the ones that you drop the thumb and let the dice rotate out of your hand. So he lets the dice rotate instead of throwing them. Remember, you can either throw the dice out of your hand or you drop the thumb and let them rotate out of your out of your hand. I use the glued dice to always get it out of it. Yes, yeah. I use it so that I can get the Dolly Parton and the Sally Field a lot.
Yes. Just trying to queue up another question here. Question from Dusted. With all of the tosses that you have previewed, which one would be a good choice for a rhythm roller?
Uh,
Well,
it
tonight
has to be the on
we're talking
axis.
about the PARR toss, but you've covered. This will be our eighth
Yeah,
type of toss.
for a rhythm roller, I would use the on axis toss, the one that I just showed. That's because if you can get in the zone, you can just stay in the zone and you know like I said, I used it at the IP and I got in the zone, and even though I don't throw it much, I had a good roll with it. That is the best one that I would recommend
Okay.
for if you want to get into a certain rhythm. The other tosses that we did, they have their own rhythm, but it's not like this. This is different. This has a rhythm that you can continue and continue and continue and continue. Jeff, you know what I'm talking about because you throw that particular toss kind of
Yeah, I do.
almost.
Yep.
Yep.
Steve says some
See,
teach forming a C with the three fingers grip. G, yours looks more like an elongated U. The U
yep.
shapes seems easier to grip.
Yeah. So that's what I was talking about with the C or the U that I use. So that's a better analogy. Thanks, Michael, for that. The I go down like this on the dice. That's more of a U, upside down U. Um, some people use a little bit forward motion or backward motion with and a C grip. It's it all comes down to what you feel comfortable with your grip. You know, My comfort zone is the U shape grip.
All right. I better make sure that is
So
right.
so we're not drawing the mug and mat today. We're drawing the the fleece.
Oh, did I put the wrong one up there?
Yeah, you put the wrong one, but that's okay.
Oh, there we go. I
You
did
can
have
use
the
the
wrong
same
part. I did have the. I
password.
was wondering. I knew I
Yeah,
had the wrong
there we
password.
go.
I had the wrong
There
password.
we go.
Don't pay attention to that previous one. That's from last shows. Let's go ahead and do this, guys. We're going to go ahead and open up the text, the chat for the password now. If you're interested in entering and winning something very similar to what I'm going to show here in a minute, just much bigger, the fleece jacket. Or fleece blanket, I should say. It's PARR toss. The word is PARR toss. And keep asking your questions with a capital Q semicolon because I can find them easier than going back and trying to search them. So that is the password right now is PARR toss. Only thing in the chat. Please just do it that way. Let's go. Let's go back. Number of rotations in the dice do you recommend on table conditions? Let's see. What's that say on?
I
changing
just
table
answered
conditions?
that.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, I just answered that.
All right, let's go to Sarge. When tossing PARR, do you ever use the Uri grip? I think you already covered that.
Yes, I do. I do because of my dice sticking. So I always use the Yuri grip. Well, I'm not going to say always, but most of the time, 9 times out of 10, 99.99% out of 10, I use the Yuri grip because then I can have some kind of control on my fingers. How do you make
How
the
do you?
dice rotate more? Um, all right, let's go. I'm not gonna. I'm only gonna take 2 minutes. Time me, but we're gonna do a little bit of advance. So, um, if you if you're throwing the dice from here, and you go up like that, and not move the dice, not move the dice.
Hold on, let me
See,
get
they're
that
already
better.
falling.
Yeah, go ahead. Center up in frame.
If you don't move the dice in your hand, then they're not going to rotate much. But if you move them, if you if you go like this before you release, or you go higher a little bit, then you're going to add rotation. Let me show you. So go back so I'm going to throw it with no rotation at all. Wrong screen, wrong, just the four.
Right screen, I'm producing here.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. So this one, the dice is not is it just went straight, no rotation, because I forced them to stay low at an angle when I release them. Now this one's going to have a lot of rotation, and what I'm going to do, see, I did this. I kind of spun them, and it rotated. So your mechanics is going to be different. It's not going to be the nice follow through. You're going to have to kind of like either spin or do something to kind of make them rotate, or you have to throw them high. Um, you really have to be with someone in person that can show you that, and then you'll see it visually. I'm a lefty and throw from stick right, lefty. Okay, the dice tends to keep on going two left after they bounce. I noticed that my arm kept twisting clockwise. Yes, so this is what we talked about, where whether you're a lefty or a righty. So I'm gonna go over here. You'll still be able to see me. Okay? And what you have to do, your arm goes like this, because that's the nature of your arm. You have to kind of go like that. You have to force yourself. Sorry about the balls, but you have to force yourself to go like this. So what you're trying to do is have your dice stay straight and flat to the back wall instead of going to the hook. It's a it's an unnatural move because your hand wants to go like this and point to the corner. You have to force it. And what I miss Howard. Howard used to tell me, point to the back wall, point to where you want to throw the dice. So if I wanted to throw it like there, I'm pointing with my 3 fingers right there. So always point to where you want to, with 3 fingers to where you want to go. And that's how you can stay away. If you still have that bad habit and you can't get over it, I'll show you a duct tape. When you're setting the dice, can you get on this camera, please, right here on my hand cam, Jeff? If you can. When you're setting the dice, instead of setting it parallel to the back wall, set it at 11 o'clock, just a tad counterclockwise, and throw it the same way. That is not a full-time fix. That is a duct tape, and that will help you stay away from the hook. Good questions. I like those.
All right, we got a couple more. Huggy Bear says, what's the purpose of gluing the dice together? Is it to practice rolling them off your fingers? Has nothing to do with the landing when you have the dice glued together. Has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the landing.
Yeah, and hopefully some folks that has a glued dice like mine will chime in, but it's to practice keeping the dice on axis and flat to the table, not going like all over the place. Like if I don't do that, if I throw them, see how like they went all over the place because I just threw them all, kind of cattywampus. It's just to kind of practice the dice, and I use that also for my when I do the flea flicker. It's easy. I don't know if Sarge has it, when he does his toss or not, but I can see if the dice is staying stacked or if it's rolling on its edges, when I toss the stack toss. So that's the purpose.
All right, next question. As a beginner in DI, what are the basics I need to learn first? Is it accuracy, keeping the dice together, soft touch, or something else?
As a beginner in DI, you need to learn the stance and the grip. That's stand the same way, grip the same way. Once you have that etched in stone, that you can stand and grip the dice. I see a lot of people go like this, they like, yeah, I'm just gonna go throw, or I'm always, if you see me, I always have either this hand glued to the table or that hand depending. I'm always doing this. I'm a robot. The reason why I do this because I don't have to think about it. It just comes and comes. So at the beginning is the stance and the grip. Once you have that down packed, work on your release and landing zone. When you can do this consistently, Heavy used to tell me, it doesn't matter what you do. If you can do it consistently, you can make money at the table. It's all about consistency. It's not about dice sets, it's about consistency, mechanics and consistency.
All right, G, I think I've covered most of the questions that pertain to the topic tonight with a capital Q. So if you have a question here, guys, as we head to actually give it away, the Gargoil fleece blanket, and
yeah, I opened it. I don't know if you saw it.
What's that?
I said I opened it. I don't know if they saw it or not, but it's this big.
Yeah, let me get to that thing. Yeah.
It's this big blanket. It's not a mat like you got.
Well, I was getting ready to show the fine folks that G sent me this. It's a little. I guess it's a mini. you get the thing up right. It's a mini. He calls this the mini mat.
Mini mat.
And you can see that it's about the size of maybe 3.5 feet, and has the Gargoil logo on it. Sorry if I covered my microphone up, didn't mean to. It's really nice. The material it's made out of is something really nice that I like. And also, G, for the next show, when we give away one of these, I got the G Gargoil. Sorry for the reflection off the monitors here, guys. I have 4 monitors in front of me. The Gargoil mug.
So
I thought that was really nice. That was really nice of you, G. I appreciate
so two
that.
things. Yeah, 2 things, Jeff. Remind the folks if they're watching live or if they're watching us after the fact to like and subscribe to your channel.
Okay. Yep. I can do that.
I'm a host on your channel, so if you like what you're seeing, like and subscribe. The other thing is, in 2 weeks, we're gonna talk about Gen C. Oh, look at that! I like that. Do it again. Do it one more time.
I had put one of the super chats up there, and I want to thank the people that are coming in. We've got Rowan that gave us a super chat, and my good friend Ron from California Craps Club. Thank you for the $19.99 super chat. You guys are awesome to us tonight. I appreciate all those.
Thank you. And by the way, all the super chats go to Jeff and his channel. All this stuff is just me thanking the viewers for just coming out and listening to an old fart like me talk about dice sets and stuff like that. But
Ron actually gave us 2. He gave me $1.99, then the $19.99. It says, "Love the show, best mods of all the crap shows." Wow, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And Seacog or Ben, I got another one. Hold it, G. I got another one. Ben, I missed it earlier. Ben gave us a super chat.
We started
Ben,
a trend.
Oh, all right, go ahead.
Did I say trend? No. So in 2 weeks, our so you think you know craps, we're gonna talk about Gen C. C as in cat, or
Gen as in generation.
Generation
Okay.
C as in clueless. So, that's gonna be the topic of the show, Gen C.
Okay, if you
It'll be
say
fun.
so. I'm at all because I don't know what that means. Wow.
Well, if you watch the show next week, wait a minute, you are gonna watch the show because I can't do it without you. What am
All
I
right,
talking?
guys. We're getting ready to give away that fleece blanket, PARR toss, like what Matt Durso has in the chat there. PARRTOSS, all one word, nothing else in, no spaces, no punctuation, no nothing. Just PARR toss will get you qualified to give that away, and I'd like to go ahead and give that away, G, if we could, if you're ready to do that, and then just want to make sure that. All right, we've got 71 watching and only 33 entries. 71 watching, 33 entries. So we're going to give it just a couple more seconds. PARR, PARRTOSS, toss will.
And make sure you stay. Don't exit because at the end we're going to take the names to put in the book for the drawing in December for the jackets. My God!
And I said I may have something else to give away.
Yep. Look who showed up. OBC. I need you to call me, my friend, because I need to know what your status is on some of the stuff that you and I have been talking about, like a year ago. So make sure you call me later today, sometime tomorrow. You got my number. Speaking of calling, I don't know if Arnell Dice Grinder is
He's here.
on.
I just haven't been able to pin anything. He's here.
He went on a marathon over the weekend, and I watched some of the stuff that he did. I'm telling you guys, that man is dedicated to what he does because he stayed on for every shooter for hours to do his nice duel. I couldn't watch the whole thing, but I watched Sarge and a few others. I know Fuzzy was on. There was a good battle between, Fuzzy had some good rolls. But Arnell, thank you for doing that, my friend. Thank you for adding that to the community. I thought that was a great idea.
All right, are you ready to give the first one away?
Let's go for it.
All right, give me 1 second here. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, and 1. Bill, Dark Vader. He was in Biloxi with us back in May. Bill, Dark Vader.
Yes.
Hopefully I'll be able to see Bill at the end of August, coming up this month in Atlantic City. Bill, you are the winner. What you need to do, my friend, is go over to midatlanticcraps.com. There's a section in the middle of the tab, the menu says promotions. Click that. Blue tab at the top says claim my prize. Please claim your prize. Put all your information in there, city, state, zip code, and also in the remarks what you won from G, because I have to send it to him. So Bill, congratulations there, my friend. I have to set up to get to the next one. And while we're doing that, G, here's another question. Oops, did I already pen that one? Hang on, G. That wasn't the question I was looking for.
No worries.
Technology. You have to love it. It has disappeared with all the comments coming in. I had a question. Here it is. I got it. Let's go here. If you can read that while I'm setting up the next one, G. You can read
For
it aloud
both
if you
Mac
like.
and G, when you throw from your preferred position, what is the tendency of your rolls of access, single pitch, double pitch, or other? I'm not sure. So, you mean what toss do we use, or
Let me read it. For both Mac and G, when you throw from your preferred position, what is the tendency of your rolls? Off axis, single pitch, double pitch, or other? Mine is typically a double pitch roll. The biggest problem I have is with my right die. Let me clarify this. I am not a DI. I'm not a controlled shooter. I just try to do the same thing over and over again. If I pick the dice up, set the dice, release the dice, and they land in my preferred spot, everything I've done right for that point is perfect, and I watch the dice come off. I'm watching the die. Typically, I watch the left die, but the result of the right die tells me that I have a problem. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Does that clear it up for what you're talking about, G? While I continue to finish
yeah.
here?
So mine is the single pitch of my right die to the right will cause me to either do a 7 or to kind of like rethink how I'm throwing the dice, because my right, based on the tosses that I throw, for the most part, my right die needs to stay on axis and to the back wall and hit the face values. The left die can go cattywampus. It can eliminate some of the 7s, but if my right die goes cattywampus, then I have to rethink what I'm doing.
All right. Next giveaway password's up there, all set up. It's Win with G, WINWITHG. The word win with and the letter G, all one word, no letters, no punctuation. Just put it in there, and we'll give that away here in a couple of seconds. I'm going back, G, just to look for a couple of more questions. I'm going to put the capital Q in here one more time, see if I've missed something. We covered the rotation. Sarge. Oh, I missed this one, Sarge. I apologize. Let me get over here to this question here. Sarge says, when tossing
Yes,
PARR,
no,
do you
we
ever
covered
use
it.
your
Yeah, we covered it all the time because of my sweaty fingers. Yes, I use a
Okay.
Yuri grip.
And G, real quick while I'm setting it up, here's a little funny one. I always end with a funny tag. In the beginning of the show, pre-show, we talked about what we were doing, and you were relaxing with some
G's
cartoons.
favorite cartoon.
What is G's favorite cartoon while everybody else puts the word
I have-
with G?
I have 2. My favorite cartoons of all time. I have 2. Of course, it's the first one is Bugs Bunny. That's my hero. And the second one is Johnny Bravo. I don't know if folks remember Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo. That's
Yeah.
not the Jetsons.
Oh,
Johnny Bravo. Yeah, the name rings a bell, G, but I don't know.
Oh, mama, ladies love me.
I don't know. All
Look,
right.
yeah. Now people are gonna go and look it up, and say Johnny
No, I
Bravo.
remember the
That,
cartoon. I'm just trying to put it in place. I guess if you will, I put it in place.
but I grew up watching Jekyll, Jekyll and Hyde, the Magpies, and pretty much Bugs and Daffy. You know, the original ones, not the new remakes.
Well,
Eh, Machata.
yeah. Let's go here. I think Arnell came in late, but you covered this, so we'll cover it for real quick while we get set up to give away this next one. And we got to talk about the shows coming up. Are you using backswing on your par talls? We covered that early
Yeah,
in the show, G. But
yeah.
Arnell,
No,
let G
pretty much.
come.
I use it straight off the decks, the on access, heavies on access toss, not the par.
All right. So it looks like we covered all the questions. G, coming up get back in frame and get your put your other camera back on and get in frame if you would please.
Oh,
Yeah.
the
Yep.
presentation mode.
Yeah, I thought you were going to switch back while I was talking, but you didn't. So coming up in a couple weeks, and I don't even know the date. It's 2 weeks from today. What would that make it if today is the 5th? That would be 14 days from the 5th, the 18th, 19th, something like that. The 19th. The 19th, we have So You Think You Know Craps. Well, again, G, recap on a word that you use that I don't understand. What was it called?
Gen C, as in
Generation C.
Generation Clueless.
Oh,
So basically, I got a lot of emails and a lot of requests from people to go back and talk about table etiquette. And while we've covered that, I want to take it another step and say, instead of trying, because you're not going to teach people table etiquette because some people just don't want to learn and other people are clueless. So the show's going to be about, if you're at the table, how do you deal with Generation C, the clueless folks that come up and say, "Oh, I want to throw the dice. I want to throw the dice. Give me the dice. I want to throw the dice." They have no money, no nothing. They just saw dice and craps and they want to throw the dice and stop the whole table. So we're going to talk about that and how to deal with it and what's the best approach.
looks like.
Generation clueless. We got a
Looks
lot of
like
them at
Ron
work,
says
by the
that we
way.
reached our goal tonight on the super chat, which is wonderful because you guys don't know it, but this is August. I'm already looking forward to December. As you know, almost every show I do in December, almost every day in December, give or take a couple of days, I give away what's inside here, and I'm holding this sleeve of dice that's been sitting on my table here for a while, and I think I'm going to give it away tonight. So if you want to win this. Let me see, is it Craps Nation or Casino? It's a Casino Tears sleeve of dice. I might have to put that back in my collection. If you want to win that sleeve of dice, well, hang in here because we're going to give away the 5 entries and then I'm going to reset it and we're going to give away one lucky winner. This
All right.
set of dice and shipping is about a $50 value. I'm going to give away a pair of Casino
You know what that
Tears
means,
dice
right?
tonight.
You know
Casino
what that
Tears. Is that
means?
what that
That
says right there? Casino
Yeah,
Tears.
but you know what that means, right? Because you
What's
have to
that?
set up the password and everything else. That means I get to talk more.
Well, I mean, let's go ahead and get your pencil and paper out, and we'll go ahead and we'll give
I
away the
got it right
5
here.
entries, and then we'll get on with it. Because
I got
technically,
it right here.
the content of the show is over with. We more or less are just sitting here BSing. All right, guys, we have 66 people watching. We have 36 entries. Last call. It's Win with G. WINWITHG, the letter G, all one word. Make it all one word. Win with G, and then we're going to go and I'm going to break down and give away a paradise tonight. Paradise. Oh, paradise. All right. So win with G is what's happening. In the last 15 minutes, G, there have been 9 YouTube Craps channels that have put out video, and one more live just started. I can't believe that. 9 people released between 9:45 and 10 o'clock released videos. Anyway, hope you enjoy your content with everybody that you like. Here we go, guys. We're going to go ahead and give away 5 winners. Now, I should say entries, not winners, because we're giving away this jacket, which is a $250 value with shipping in the month of December. When we've got some special things planned as we end the 2 shows of dice tossing techniques, as this show is tonight. And so you think you know craps coming up in 2 weeks. Here we go. First one, G, 3, 2, 1. Frank from New Jersey is a winner. Frank. Hopefully, Frank, I'll see you in a couple of weeks. I'll be there sometime the week of the 25th. Hopefully, we'll get together during that time period. I really look forward to seeing you. Let's go ahead and do a couple more. Let's go 3, 2, 1. Mad Hatter, Mark. Mark wins a qualifying entry into that jacket. That is Mark Mad Hatter. I hope to see you in September, Mark, if you're coming to the Craps for the Cure. Almost forgot what I was talking about. All right, here we go. Number 3. 3, 2, 1. Mike Malone, old school in the house. Mike was in Biloxi in May as well. Mike, you're a qualifier. Let's go ahead down here and do 3, 2, 1. Joe's qualified. Craps Master Journey, Joe. Joe Jonas. Joe is qualified. And we've got one more to go, and I hope you're writing them down, G, because here we go. 3, 2, 1. And Pete, 1969. I don't know what Pete's last name is, but 1969. Now, the 5 of you don't have to do anything. You don't have to go to Mid-Atlantic Craps and enter anything. G's got the list of everything. And coming up in the December show, we are actually going to be doing quite a few giveaways that night. It's going to be like Christmas in December. Imagine that. That's what Christmas is.
In December, exactly.
Yeah, Christmas in December, yes. Let's see here. I saw something come up here. I saw Rowan, I appreciate the comments. These are the kind of comments that keep us going with it. I can't see them all, guys. I can't keep track of everything, but we appreciate your comments.
I mean, I appreciate everybody watching, and remember, if you go back and watch the show for no reason, there's something you wanted to ask, or put it in the comment. We encourage comments. I will reply to them as soon as I get them, or as soon as I get a chance to reply to them. I always reply. Use the comments section on the videos, not just this one, but the ones in the prior. I know that John from ProCraps was telling me that a few people he was talking to went back and watched our location segment from 2 weeks ago more than once, simply because they missed something and they stopped at a certain place and they wanted to, because it was a good episode. I will always answer questions regardless of what they are, regardless from who they are, whether it's them comments or if you send me an email at originalcargo@gmail.com.
All right, I'm set up for the last giveaway tonight, G, and we're going to call the show after this. It is Casino Tears. Very simply, Casino Tears, all one word, CasinoTears, Casino Tears, just like the banner back there is. And I'd like to thank my good friend Ed from Roll to Win. And Ed and I've got a little bit of a secret coming out here in just a little while, so stay tuned for that. I don't want to give too much away, but I do know that he's got some announcements that he's going to be making. I don't even know all the details, but I'm looking forward to that. So also I want to thank Fran Tenton from calling me earlier today and wishing me well on my health. I appreciate that. Fran and I had a nice long talk, so I decided I was going to go ahead and give away this set of Casino Tears dice. It was like a ding ding in my head. They've been sitting here on the table, and I talked to him, so we're going to give away those Casino Tears dice. Coming up in the month of December, almost every live show I have, and typically I have about 15 to 18 live shows before Christmas where I will give away a sleeve of dice. Unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be Craps Nation this year, because my understanding is the order is not ready to go. If I'm mistaken, somebody put it in the chat that I'm mistaken, and we will correct that, because typically I order about 100 pairs of dice for my yearly, the whole thing, and I give away about 30 30, somewhere between 20 and 30 sleeves of dice in the month of December. The rest of them go throughout the year, and I use them on my table, and then I throw them away. And I guess maybe I shouldn't throw them away. I should probably start giving them away. Hey, they've been used on the table. Oh, who would want a pair of dice? Who would want a pair of dice that had played on my table? You certainly wouldn't want one, would you? He's not gonna answer that.
I don't want to get kicked off the show.
Hey, that would have been. Oops, hold on a second, guys. That would have been my answer. Oh my gosh, sorry about that. All right, let's see.
See, I'm already getting kicked out.
No, my wireless mouse slid too far, and I pushed the wrong button. And it's like the Wizard of Oz being behind the curtain. Sometimes you get to see. I have a camera up in the corner that I used to put in down in the lower side of this frame there, and you can see me working the workings of what I do behind the scene. I mean, there's 4 monitors here, and it gets a little busy at times. All right, here we go. So we're ready to go with this. We've got 33 entries. We've been running about half of what's online, and this is a sleeve of casino dice. If you win this one, you do have to go to midatlanticcraps.com. You do have to go to the promotion tab and claim your prize, and please fill out everything that's in there. There is a drop-down box that says dice are not swag, but you can choose that one, and in the comments section just say you won the sleeve of Casino Tiers dice. So let's go ahead and give this away to one lucky winner. Here we go in 3, 2, and 1. Love for Craps. I have no idea who that is. That's a new person to my channel. At least I think it is, unless they've changed their YouTube name. Love for Craps. Since you're new here, midatlanticcraps.com. Center tab in the menu, promotions and contest. Click on that. There's a blue tab that says claim my price. Please fill all of that out because I have to use that for the shipping, and whatever you do, city, state, and zip. Please, if you would. All right, Gene, we're going to go ahead and close the show out and do something tonight. I put this up here, so go ahead and talk while I add your email in case somebody wants to get in contact with you.
I appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate your support for Jeff's channel. The channel's grown so far this year. We've had a lot of new folks in the community watching us. We're happy to do these things, and I enjoy making every single one of them. This is part of the cool stuff that I do, in my life. So appreciate you putting up with us while we do these things.
All right. Well, I'd like to say, I appreciate everybody that's here. I appreciate the continuation of the texts, the emails, the phone calls, and even a couple people I've run into recently wishing me well on my health and my girlfriend's health and her recovery. So I want to thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. Tomorrow is the day. If you know, you know. I'm just going to let it go at that. So, Jay, anything else tonight? We'll see you in 2 weeks on the 19th, August 19th for So You Know Craps and Jen City.
Yep. And make sure you let me know tomorrow.
All right, I will. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in tonight. If you're watching it on the replay, you'll miss the pre-show. If you want to back up to the beginning, up until probably about midnight tonight, the pre-show will be there. After that, the pre-show won't be there. So we'll catch you on the next one, guys, 2 weeks from tonight. So You Think You Know Craps, and then we're back on September 9th. I believe it is September 9th. 2 days before I leave to go to the Craps for the Cure in Las Vegas. That's the other thing I forgot to talk about. Craps for the Cure in Las Vegas. Palace Station is the casino, and we're going to be at the Casino Quest doing a lot of things there. Go over to Casino Gaming TV, Pro Craps and John. Listen to what he has to say, the lineup, and the actual schedule is up on Craps for the Cure. It's either .com or .org. I forget which, but it's one of those. And I'll see you guys in Las Vegas then. So we'll be back August 19th, and then again 2 days before I leave for Vegas on September 9th. Gee, take us out of here, and I'll do my tagline, and we'll be gone.
Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I'll let him say it.
All right. God bless each and every one of you. Be safe. Play smart.